What's up, guys? It's Matt, and today we are talking about building your podcast website because every podcast needs a website and they're not all created equally. Got a lot to cover. Let's dive in and we'll get started. Now, before we get started, you will need web hosting of some kind. Now, the hosting platforms, the podcast hosting platforms like Buzzsprout, Podbean, whatever, they usually offer you a website that you can use. It's kind of part of their plan. But here's why I would not advise it, and that is because you are then tied to them, and it makes it very, very difficult to separate yourself and your business from them down the road in case you want to switch things up. So I personally like to build things in a flexible way so I could switch hosting providers out and different services and whatnot. So that's why I advise you to go with a third-party web host, something that you have full control over. As long as you pay your bill, the website is yours, the domain is yours, and you can change it and do whatever it is that you want with it. You have full control. So it's really important to me, and I figured I'd share that with you. I've used probably 5 or 6 different companies over the years, and I've kind of settled down on InMotion. These guys I started with at the beginning of the year, and they've just been absolutely stellar. Really cheap. The stuff works really well. They actually have people in the States that answer your customer service requests. They're very fast at solving my problems. And in fact, I've had like 0 problems. So super happy with them as opposed to some of the other hosts that I've used. Anyway, highly advise you check them out. If you go to easypodsite.com, I have the full instructions laid out there as well. So there'll be a link down below that you can check out. So let's start. We're going to log into our InMotion hosting. Hopefully you've got an account. If you don't yet, sign up. I think it's like $50 for the year and you get unlimited hosting. So super, super cool stuff. So we're going to sign in and you get this really like scary interface, but we're just going to go down here to cPanel. And what cPanel is basically the control panel for everything that we need to do. Now, when you sign up for your web host, whatever it is that you use, you're going to register a domain name, or you might already own one. All you need to do is point that domain name to InMotion hosting, so you can literally get into the nitty-gritty of that. Here, let me pull it up right here, actually. So we've got this like meal plan site that I've done nothing with. So you're going to just set the name service to ns1.inmotion.com, ns2.inmotion.com. If you go with a different host, it would be whatever that host is. So if you sign up with DreamHost or Bluehost, it's usually ns1.dreamhost or Bluehost or whatever it is. Usually there's a little green check, so you check that. And then what it's going to do is it's going to start forwarding any requests for this domain is going to point to InMotion. So that's what we want. We want this domain to point to where the website actually lives. Something to just keep in mind, a website is just a bunch of files on a computer. So when you have a domain name, whatever the domain name is, you basically need to tell the internet where to look for the files. So the files will live at InMotion. We just tell where the domain name is registered. It could be different companies, but we're just telling them, hey, by the way, it's over at InMotion, so look there. Very simple. So we could jump back to the cPanel, and what we're going to do is we're going to go down to domains. And in here, we're going to actually add the domain to our account. So you do create a new domain. And now we're going to just paste that in. Whoops, wrong site. Let's do this. So we've got mealplanpdf.info, and we're just going to hit submit. And what this is going to do is it will create a folder on the web server. That's all it does. It creates a folder on the web server. So once this is done, we'll get to installing WordPress, which is also very simple to do. WordPress Manager by InMotion Hosting. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to help us install WordPress into that folder that we just created. We're going to click on install because we want to install a fresh copy. So we're just going to select our domain from the drop-down list, and then we're going to click down here, and we're just going to turn off all this stuff. These are all like plugins. You don't need like any of them. So I would just get rid of them. This is just stuff that slows your website down, generally speaking. And I'm going to turn off the server-side caching just so I could show you guys what you need to see. But really, you don't need any of this stuff on. I'm just going to set admin and our password. And now we're going to click install. So now it's going through the process. It's going to drop the files in there. And voila, we've got WordPress. How easy was that? All right, so now that everything is installed and technically ready, I let it sit for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to cut that part out for you. I wanted it to have enough time to actually like finish the install and stuff. Even though it says that it was installed successfully, it usually takes about 5 minutes after it says that just to create the certificate. There's a security certificate that needs to be generated, and it just needs a few minutes to like catch up. So we can actually go ahead and click on this link here, and it's going to open up our website. So we've got our site, and we're already 50% there, and we're a little over 10 minutes deep, so it's not too bad. So let's go visit our site. Let's just see what we've got here. So we've got a basic blank site, nothing on it. So a few things that you're going to want to consider for your podcast site. You're going to want to consider getting some kind of email list, something to capture emails with. I have a recommendation. There's a link down below. Please check it out. Fantastic service, very cheap, and it does everything that you'll need to do. Basically, collect emails, send emails, automation stuff. It's really well kitted out, in my opinion. Then you're also going to want to consider some kind of a shopping cart, which I also have a link down below for. It's just in case you want to start selling digital products, physical products, anything like that. If you're looking to monetize your podcast, it's really important. But for now, let's find ourselves a theme and start making this thing look good. So we're going to go over to the dashboard. And in here, there's a couple plugins that I like to install right away. It just makes the process of building the site a little easier. So the plugin is the Classic Editor. That's a must-have in my opinion. It's just really good for writing content. And we're just going to hit activate. And then we're going to go back to add new plugin. We're going to do classic widgets. Again, it just makes things simple. And then I'm just going to delete these things we don't need. And we are pretty much rocking and rolling. So we can start looking at the pages, and we can start looking at the theme stuff. So themes is really up to you and your brand and whatever it is that you're trying to set up for your brand here. So there are tons of different themes out there. I found this one that was interesting. It's called Quadrat. It's interesting. And it caught my eye. So I figured we could give that one a shot. And I got to tell you a little story. I once worked for somebody that was building a new website for the company. The company was struggling. We were trying to figure out how to bring more people in. And we figured, okay, we need a website. We need somewhere to point people to so that they can find us, so that we can increase our business. That team decided to build a website and spent probably close to a year building it out, making it super fancy, super intricate, like way more than it needed to be. And it never got any people to the site. Like, I don't think anybody ever found the site, used the site, had anything to do with it at all. Tens of thousands of dollars down the drain because we didn't know what we were doing at the time, and it was just not what it needed to be. So I'm just going to put that out there. You want your site to be live fast. So whatever that means is just get it live, make sure it's up, Make sure there's something there, and then you can always iterate it. You should always be iterating the site, always be working on it on the side, update a page, add a page, change this, tweak that, whatever. That's all well and good, but you want to have a website that is live immediately, something where people can at least go and be received on some level. So I've activated this theme here. Not bad. I think that's kind of nice, actually. All right, so we've got our homepage sorta built. Now if I refresh this, it's still gonna look wrong, okay? And we're going to, we'll see here in the upper right corner, that's the homepage itself. So if I click that, it's gonna bring me to a different page, okay? Now if you wanted to set this as the homepage, you can do that in here. So you go to Appearance, Themes, and sorry, it's gonna be Settings, Reading, and we can actually set a static page. So we could set that page as the home page. So instead of, well, it already changed it. So there you go. So that's our new home page. Pretty cool, pretty snazzy. And then if you wanted to like customize the appearance, you would just go into themes here, customize, and you can make all the nuanced changes that you want. You can mess with the colors, font sizes, the layout, if you want like blog posts to show up, all that good stuff. It's all going to be in here. I'm not going to dive into this part because this is really what you need to figure out for your show, like what it is that you want it to look like. So I encourage you to get yourself a theme and just play around with it and all that good stuff. But for now, we've got our sample post, and that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm going to put out another video that talks about what actually goes on the site. So we've got the nuts and bolts in place, and then the next video is going to talk about the content on the site, because this is what's going to bring the people in, and it's going to start cycling people through your show, and it's going to help you grow. So if that sounds good, check the links down below. Again, I'm going to have a second video coming out, and I'll catch you soon.